if there's something very important to be developed from the moon. I'm not sure what it is right now.
For centuries, the moon has been a symbol of mystery, inspiring myths, scientific discoveries, and even wild theories. While most believe it to be a natural satellite, some claim it is something far more complex, perhaps even artificial. The full moon does not have extra gravity compared to any other phase, yet strange anomalies, unexplained scientific data, and new discoveries have only deepened the mystery. Now, Elon Musk has made a bold statement that challenges everything we thought we knew. Join us as we talk about what Elon Musk meant when he said the moon is a spaceship and that he brought proof. However, before we deal with the shocking statement that Elon Musk made about the moon, let us first see what fuels his endless passion for space exploration and how SpaceX is reshaping the future of humanity. Elon Musk has always been fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. Unlike many entrepreneurs who focus on wealth and business expansion, Elon's ambitions stretch far beyond Earth's borders. His vision is to extend human civilization beyond our planet, ensuring that humanity does not remain confined to a single celestial body. But where does this deep-rooted passion come from? As a child, Elon was an avid reader, devouring science fiction novels and complex technical books. Stories of intergalactic travel and futuristic societies captivated his imagination. While most people dismissed science fiction as pure fantasy, Elon saw it as a roadmap, a glimpse into what could be possible if humanity dared to dream big enough. His philosophy about space is both philosophical and practical. He believes that the survival and prosperity of the human race depend on expanding beyond Earth. If a catastrophic event, whether natural or human-made, were to threaten life on our planet, having a multiplanetary existence would serve as a safeguard for our species. His ultimate goal is to make Mars a second home for humanity, a place where civilization can continue even in the face of disaster. This vision was not just a daydream. Elon turned it into reality by founding SpaceX in 2002, at a time when private space exploration was seen as impossible. His goal was to revolutionize space travel by drastically reducing costs and increasing the frequency of missions. But the road was anything but easy. In the early days, SpaceX faced failure after failure. The first 3 rocket launches ended in disaster, burning through millions of dollars. Many people, including experts in the aerospace industry, doubted Elon's ability to succeed. But quitting was never an option for him. Instead of seeing failure as the end, he treated it as a necessary step toward progress. In 2008, with only one last chance left, SpaceX successfully launched the Falcon 1 rocket, proving that private space travel was not just possible but viable. This breakthrough led to a partnership with NASA, and SpaceX quickly became one of the most influential space companies in history. Elon's approach to rocket design was radically different. Traditionally, rockets were built as single-use machines, meaning that every mission required a brand new spacecraft. This made space travel incredibly expensive. SpaceX changed the game by designing reusable rockets, starting with the Falcon 9. By landing and reusing rocket boosters, the cost of launching into space dropped significantly. Another milestone was the Dragon spacecraft, which became the first private spacecraft to dock with the International Space Station. This proved that commercial spaceflight could rival government missions. However, Elon's most ambitious project is Starship, a fully reusable spacecraft designed to take humans to Mars and beyond. If successful, Starship could make interplanetary travel as common as flying between countries on Earth. For Elon, reaching Mars is not a distant fantasy. It is a necessity. He predicts that humans will set foot on Mars by 2029. But why is he so obsessed with this timeline? According to Elon, the longer humanity stays confined to Earth, the greater the risk of extinction. Whether from climate change, nuclear war, or an unforeseen disaster, civilization faces many threats. By establishing a colony on Mars, humans would have a backup plan, a chance to continue evolving and exploring the universe. But colonizing Mars is no small task. The planet's harsh conditions, lack of oxygen, and extreme temperatures make survival a challenge. To overcome these obstacles, SpaceX is developing advanced life support systems, sustainable habitats, and methods for producing fuel and food on Mars. Despite the challenges, Elon remains confident. He believes that technological advancements will soon make colonization possible. His passion is contagious, inspiring scientists, engineers, and dreamers worldwide to believe that life beyond Earth is not just a fantasy. It is our future. SpaceX's innovations have already changed the aerospace industry, but Elon's dreams extend even further. His ultimate goal is to create a self-sustaining human settlement on Mars. Beyond that, he envisions space travel becoming as routine as commercial air travel, allowing humans to explore other planets and star systems. However, although Elon's focus was primarily on Mars, did you know that he has recently started exploring the moon as well? While his dream of colonizing Mars has dominated headlines, his involvement in lunar missions has been growing rapidly. Right now, for the first time in history, 3 private lunar landers are on their way to the moon, marking a turning point in space exploration. This is not just another space mission. This is a signal that the moon is becoming a central focus for scientific research, technological development, and even future colonization. But why is this happening now, and why is Elon suddenly interested in the moon? The launch of Intuitive Machines' Athena spacecraft aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket on February 27, 2025, was not just another routine mission. It joined 2 other private lunar landers, Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost and Resilience, built by the Japanese company iSpace, both of which were launched on January 15. This is the first time in history that 3 private landers are heading toward the moon at the same time. Think about it. Until recently, lunar exploration was the exclusive domain of government agencies like NASA, Roscosmos, and CNSA. But now, private companies are stepping in, and Elon Musk's SpaceX is playing a key role in launching these missions. This shift is proof that space is no longer just for governments. It's becoming a place for private innovation, competition, and even business. At first, it might seem strange why send so many landers to the moon now when we haven't had humans there since Apollo 17 in 1972. The answer lies in what we've discovered about the moon in recent years, particularly about its south pole. The moon's south pole is believed to contain vast amounts of water ice hidden in permanently shadowed craters. This ice could be a game changer, providing drinking water, oxygen for astronauts, and even hydrogen for rocket fuel. This is why NASA's Artemis program is planning to send astronauts to this region and why private companies are racing to study it. 2 of the current lunar landers, Blue Ghost and Athena, are carrying NASA science instruments as part of the Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. Their goal is to gather as much data as possible to prepare for future human missions. Athena, in particular, is carrying a small rover and a unique hopper named Grace designed to jump across the lunar surface, exploring multiple locations. While Athena and Blue Ghost are set to land soon, the 3rd private lander, Resilience, is taking a longer route. Unlike the others, Resilience isn't part of a NASA program. Instead, it's carrying a tiny rover named Tenacious, which will collect lunar soil samples for NASA. However, there's no plan to return these samples to Earth just yet. Elon Musk may not be directly behind these landers, but his influence is undeniable. All 3 missions were launched on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, which has become the workhorse of modern spaceflight. Falcon 9's reliability and cost-effectiveness have made it the go-to vehicle for launching lunar missions, commercial satellites, and even astronaut crews for years. Elon has dismissed the moon in favor of Mars. He has argued that Mars is a better long-term home for humanity due to its atmosphere and potential for terraforming. However, with NASA and other space agencies focusing heavily on the moon, it makes sense for him to shift some of his attention there. And let's not forget that SpaceX is already playing a major role in NASA's Artemis program. In 2021, SpaceX's Starship was chosen as the lunar lander for Artemis 3, the mission that will carry astronauts back to the moon for the first time in over 50 years. This means that in just a few years, SpaceX will not only be launching lunar landers but also landing humans on the moon. All this should not surprise us, considering that the moon is probably not what you thought. A future where ordinary people can walk on the moon, and if you believe the predictions of Elon Musk, humans could be walking on the moon like ordinary travelers in less than 2 years. This might sound unbelievable, but for someone like Elon, who has turned science fiction into reality more than once, it is just another step toward a much bigger goal. For decades, space travel has been limited to highly trained astronauts, government-funded missions, and billion-dollar budgets. Only a select few have had the privilege of standing on another celestial body. But Elon believes that this is about to change. He envisions a world where space travel is as routine as taking a flight across the ocean, where humans don't just visit the moon for a few days but live and work there, making it an extension of Earth itself. As technology advanced, he realized that the moon could play a crucial role in this journey. Instead of treating it as just a historical achievement, he began seeing it as a testing ground for interplanetary travel. The moon is much closer than Mars, making it the perfect place to develop and refine the technologies needed for deep space exploration. If humans can build a base there, they will have the experience required to survive in even harsher environments. This is also why Elon has started paying more attention to lunar missions. His company, SpaceX, has already been selected by NASA to land astronauts on the moon for the Artemis program. But Elon isn't satisfied with just working under government contracts. He wants to make lunar travel open to the public, to make it possible for ordinary people, not just trained astronauts, to set foot on the moon. Traditional rockets are expensive, single-use machines that burn billions of dollars on each mission. This is where Elon's vision changes everything. SpaceX has already revolutionized spaceflight with the Falcon 9, the first reusable rocket. Instead of discarding expensive parts after each launch, SpaceX reuses them, drastically lowering the price of going to space. This same principle is now being applied to the Starship, a fully reusable spacecraft designed to take people to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Elon believes that once Starship is fully operational, the cost of traveling to the Moon will drop significantly. Instead of billion-dollar government missions, private individuals will be able to buy tickets, just like they do for international flights. Most experts in the space industry would say that humans returning to the Moon in 2 years is unrealistic. The amount of planning, testing, and safety precautions required for such missions is enormous. But Elon has never been one to follow traditional timelines. When he first started SpaceX, many believed he would fail. He faced multiple rocket failures, near bankruptcy, and skeptics, but he proved them wrong. Today, SpaceX is one of the most successful aerospace companies in history, routinely launching astronauts to the International Space Station. Now, he is applying the same relentless drive to lunar exploration. He believes that landing Starship on the Moon within 2 years is not just possible, it is inevitable. If regulatory hurdles slow down government missions, Elon has suggested that SpaceX might just go ahead and do it on its own. The discovery that changes everything. A few minutes ago, we mentioned water on the Moon, and yes, as strange as it sounds, it is now a confirmed reality. For decades, scientists believed the Moon was a dry and barren wasteland devoid of any significant water sources. But recent discoveries have shattered this belief, revealing something far more intriguing: water molecules hidden within the lunar soil. This discovery is not just a minor scientific breakthrough, it changes everything. It rewrites our understanding of the Moon's history, its composition, and most importantly, its future. The presence of water means that long-term lunar habitation is no longer just a distant dream. It could become a reality sooner than anyone expected. The idea that the Moon was completely dry originated from the Apollo missions when American astronauts brought back lunar soil samples in the 1960s and 70s. No traces of water were found. Scientists at the time concluded that the Moon had lost all its water billions of years ago due to its lack of atmosphere and exposure to the harsh radiation of space. But over the years, robotic missions and advanced instruments began detecting faint signals of water. These were dismissed at first, maybe it was just contamination or an error in the instruments. But as the evidence piled up, it became harder to ignore. Then came the moment of undeniable proof. China's Chang'e 5 mission, which returned lunar soil samples in 2020, provided the most concrete evidence yet. Chinese scientists discovered a mineral in the samples that contained molecular water. This was no longer a theory, it was real. For the first time in history, scientists held in their hands proof that water exists on the Moon, locked within minerals. Finding water on the Moon is not like finding a frozen lake or underground reservoir. It is hidden in different forms, embedded in minerals, chemically bonded within the soil, or scattered in tiny ice particles mixed with lunar dust. Some of it is believed to be trapped in the dark, permanently shadowed craters near the Moon's poles where sunlight never reaches. For years, scientists debated where this water came from. Some believed it was delivered by comets and asteroids crashing into the lunar surface over billions of years. Others suggested that solar wind, streams of charged particles from the sun, reacted with oxygen on the Moon's surface, creating small amounts of water over time. Now, with the discovery of hydrated minerals, the mystery is starting to unravel. This water is not just a random occurrence, it is embedded in the very structure of the Moon's soil. And if water exists in these minerals, it raises the question of how much more might be hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. This discovery is not just about science, it has enormous implications for the future of human space exploration. Water is the most valuable resource for any long-term mission beyond Earth. It is not just for drinking, it can be split into hydrogen and oxygen to create rocket fuel. It can provide oxygen for astronauts to breathe. It can make life on the Moon sustainable. For space agencies and private companies like SpaceX, this discovery changed the game. Until now, one of the biggest challenges of colonizing the Moon was the need to transport vast amounts of water from Earth, an expensive and difficult process. But if water can be extracted directly from the lunar surface, it reduces the need to bring supplies from home. NASA's Artemis program and China's future lunar missions are now focusing on these water-rich areas, particularly near the Moon's south pole. They plan to study, extract, and even use this water to support a long-term human presence. Private companies are also looking at ways to mine lunar water, turning it into fuel for deep space missions. This is just the beginning. The discovery of water on the moon is not the end of the story. It is the start of a new era in space exploration. With each new mission, new technologies, and more advanced instruments, scientists will uncover even more of the moon's hidden secrets. The hollow moon theory? But if you thought the existence of water on the moon was shocking, wait until you hear what some scientists and theorists have proposed about its very nature. One of the most controversial ideas is the hollow moon theory, first introduced in 1970 by Soviet scientists Mikhail Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov. They suggested that the moon is not a natural celestial body, but rather an artificial construct, possibly built by an advanced civilization. This claim is based on several strange observations. The moon's density is significantly lower than Earth's, leading some to believe it could be partially hollow. During the Apollo 12 mission, NASA deliberately crashed part of the lunar module onto the surface, and the seismic sensors registered vibrations that lasted far longer than expected. The moon, they said, rang like a bell. Later missions recorded similar results. While scientists explain this as a result of the moon's dry and rigid structure, others see it as proof that something is hidden within. Another strange detail is the moon's orbit. Unlike most natural satellites, which have irregular orbits, the moon's orbit is almost perfectly circular. Its size in relation to Earth is also unusual. Compared to other planet-moon systems in our solar system, some claim this is too precise to be a coincidence. Adding to the mystery, NASA's Grail mission in 2019 discovered a massive, dense metallic structure buried deep beneath the South Pole Aitken Basin, the largest and oldest crater on the moon. One explanation is that this mass is the remnant of a giant asteroid that collided with the moon billions of years ago. Instead of breaking apart, its iron-nickel core may have sunk deep into the lunar mantle, remaining intact. Another theory suggests it could be a layer of dense metal oxides formed during the moon's cooling process. But there are those who believe the answer is far stranger. Some speculate that this mass could be an underground structure, something deliberately placed there, something artificial. If the moon were hollow or contained secret chambers, could this metallic mass be part of an ancient mechanism, a hidden base, or even an abandoned piece of alien technology? Even for those who don't believe in the more radical theories, these findings are still game-changing. If the moon contains large amounts of metal, it could be a valuable resource for future space missions. Nations and private companies are already planning lunar mining operations, and finding dense metal deposits could make the moon a key part of interplanetary exploration. If the moon's strange features are simply the result of natural cosmic events, understanding them would help scientists learn more about planetary formation and the history of the solar system. But if even a small part of these theories holds any truth, it could change everything we know about space and human history. For Musk, the idea that the moon might not be what we think is not just science fiction, it's a question worth answering. And that is exactly what intrigued him the most. Elon Musk says he has proof. Elon Musk recently agreed with this theory when he said, "The moon is a spaceship, and I brought proof." When he said this, he was referring to a groundbreaking discovery made by an advanced AI system developed by SpaceX. Musk revealed that one of his experimental AI-driven scanning technologies, integrated into a high-tech satellite orbiting the moon, had conducted a deep subsurface scan using a method similar to LiDAR, a technique used on Earth to detect underground structures. The results, according to Musk, were nothing short of shocking. The AI system produced a highly detailed 3D map of the moon's interior, and the findings were impossible to ignore. Beneath the surface, instead of solid rock, the scan revealed massive hollow chambers, structured layers, and an inexplicably uniform void deep within the lunar crust. The internal composition was starkly different from what mainstream science has always claimed. The moon was not a simple rock, it was something else entirely. This changes everything, Musk declared. The readings show an extensive, structured cavity beneath the moon's surface. Nature does not create something like this without reason. If this were just a geological anomaly, it wouldn't have such symmetry, such depth, and such a clear structural divide between the outer shell and the interior void. The implications are staggering. Musk believes that the moon was engineered either as an artificial construct or a modified celestial body designed for purposes we have yet to understand. Whether it was placed in Earth's orbit as an observational station, a hidden fortress, or something even more mysterious, one thing is clear: we have been looking at the moon the wrong way for a very, very long time. Could the moon have been placed in Earth's orbit by an advanced civilization? If so, for what purpose? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to our channel for more.